So I was really hoping I wouldn't have to come on here and make this video, but I do, sadly. It is 4:42 in the morning. Yesterday, I was at work when I was hearing news that Hana Kimura was having a rough time. She posted some very disturbing images to Twitter, and I was getting messages from my Discord and people online, and everyone on Twitter was very supportive, saying pray for Hana, all this kind of stuff. I put out a few words about her, and I went about my day, and I was hoping that somebody would reach out to her and save her, basically. And we didn't really hear much news throughout the rest of the day. I got home, I thought about her the entire time. Hopefully she was okay. I got home, I went to sleep around, I think, like 11, and I woke up at 4:30, and I already was having this very weird dream I don't want to get into. I was having a very weird dream, and I woke up, and normally sometimes you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you go back to sleep, but something was not right. Something told me to check Twitter. Check Twitter. I woke my phone, and the first thing I saw was a Discord message saying that I got a message saying Hana Kimura was dead. And I said, oh no, please tell me this is not real. And I checked Twitter, and it just confirmed it. And my heart just like went, my heart just crushed. It's very saddening news to hear when anybody passes away. But it's even worse knowing the conditions of why they passed away. Hana Kimura didn't just die in her sleep or anything. She killed herself. She committed suicide. And a lot of people are under the speculation, and more so, I think it's not speculation, that they know that she was bullied into the situation by people online. They didn't like her. They just wanted to have fun. They bullied her to the point where she couldn't take anymore, and she took her own life. And coming from a person who has dealt with friends and loved ones who have been suicidal or have almost actually went through the act, when you actually meet someone and you get some connection with them, and then they actually go through with it, it's just a very very devastating feeling. Like I always try to advocate for mental health and tell everyone to check in with those around you, and it's rough. It really is. I immediately knew when I saw that tweet from Hana it was a cry for help, but I didn't actually think she would follow through with that, if I do say that in that way, and I hope it doesn't come off wrong. But first thing I want to say on the situation is I know everyone is grieving, but this is not the time to go on Twitter and yell, scream at the people who may have had taken part in bullying her into this situation. This is not the time to do that. Because no matter how angry you are and how mad you get online, it's not going to bring her back. That's just a fact of the matter. This should be a time to remember her and for us to basically come to terms with everything. So I think everyone should leave their hatred off to the side for this one, and for any situation that happens like this in your life. I've never actually dealt with someone who ever committed suicide, so this is pretty different for me. I know it sounds like I knew Hana. I didn't know Hana from a hole in the wall, but it's very heartbreaking to me because everyone remembers the first wrestler that got them into a promotion. Like WWE, for me, it was Chris Jericho. For New Japan, it was Kota Ibushi. And for Stardom, it was Hana. When I first started watching Stardom around September of last year, it was because I saw this female wrestler with this long pink hair and this very exotic in life, exuberance attire. And her name was Hana Kimura. And I thought, wow, she looks different. Like, you see so many female wrestlers today, I don't want to say they all look the same, but Hana stood out. Hana stood out from all the female wrestlers I see today. And that immediately caught my eye. And I said, I need to see what she's all about. And when she started wrestling, for the life of me, I wish I could remember who she was wrestling that day. It's really a blur, but I only remember I saw her. And I was taken aback by her. And I was like, wow, where can I see this? And it was Stardom. And I've heard about Stardom before. Of course, when Kairi Sane came into WWE, all you heard about was the promotion she came from Stardom. So I heard about him then, and in Lucha Underground, when Kairi and Mayu and Io wrestled Pentagon Jr. on that episode of Lucha Underground, I believe in season 3, 2016 it might have been. You hear that they come from Stardom, and it's like, wow, they produce some great wrestlers. So from that Hana match I started watching some more Hana matches, and from that I started to like some of the other women that were wrestling on these shows, and that got me into Stardom. Hey, this is Tyler Williams in the middle of editing here. I just want to say something else that I forgot to mention in here. My first ever live New Japan show was last year, G1 Supercard of Honor, the crossover show Ring of Honor in New Japan at Madison Square Garden. And I believe, if I'm correct, the first ever match on that show, it was on a pre-show. It was a Oedo Tai versus some other team. I swear, I hope I don't remember who they were facing, but I distinctly remember Hana Kimura and Kagetsu being in a match. So once again, Hana Kimura was involved in one of my first wrestling experiences. She was involved in my first New Japan show. And she's involved in my second New Japan show. So I also have to hold that very close and near and dear to me. Just wanted to put that in here before I continue on. A lot of my fans at the time were asking me to start watching Stardom, and that pushed me in the right direction. Arisa Hoshiki recently just retired, and I would say she's my favorite wrestler in Stardom. And I don't think I would have ever met or known about Arisa if it wasn't for Hana. What really upsets me, that now they're both not here anymore. Arisa at least is still alive, but Hana's not here on this earth anymore. So Hana got me into wrestling. Well, Stardom, female Joshi wrestling. I should say as a whole, I would say it's because of Hana. When I went to Japan earlier this year in January, I was very excited for the trip, and it was for a few reasons. One is because I get to travel across the world for the first time ever by myself and go to Japan, where I got this hat. This is Japan. I get to go to Wrestle Kingdom, and I get to go to my first Stardom show because I was able to book a ticket to a Stardom show. It was called Stardom Wrestle Cinderella 2020, and it happened on January 4th, the same day as Wrestle Kingdom. Thank you and shout out to Starlight Kid for helping me get that ticket. So let's just fast forward to January 4th. Okay. So January 4th comes. I take trains, an hour and a half long commute all the way to, what was the venue called? The KFC Arena in Ryugoku. And I get there, and I realize as soon as I get to the door that I only brought enough money to get into the venue and not enough money to get pictures or signings with anything, and I was disappointed. But I got into the show, and I got in there, and I saw the women that started to perform for the first time live, and it was one of the greatest things I ever experienced. nothing I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've never seen an all-women show live before. It's one of those things that you just never forget about. This is my little wrestling memorabilia time machine thing. I store a lot of my memorabilia in here from wrestling events, things along the like. Hold on. It's in here. Yes, it's in here. So, if you want to see what the ticket looks like, here's a ticket. You got Hana right there, right in the middle. Right in the middle on the bottom. Stuff like that you never forget. The show was great. I believe the match Hana was in, it was her and Julia. And I don't remember exactly who they faced. I just remember it was Hana and Julia. And seeing Hana's entrance live was so awesome. I think I still have the video on my phone somewhere. But after the show, I went outside the venue, and everyone was already rallying outside. They were getting ready for pictures and such. And one of the first women out there for pictures was Hana Kimura. And immediately you could tell she was in a hurry, because people were coming up, and she was waving down like, come on, come on, come on. And she's getting in, and she's smiling, and she's waving people down, and she's like, she's on her grind. And I can appreciate that. You know, she has to prepare for a show. When the KFC Stardom show got done, it was done in I think an hour and a half, maybe 2-3 hours before Wrestle Kingdom actually started. I probably would say, I think an hour and a half before her match, actually. Maybe an hour, I'm not sure. But she was hurrying and and I knew I wanted to get a picture with her more than anything else. I wanted to get a picture, I wanted to get a signing from her, but I did not have any money under any means to actually be able to interact with her, and I was very upset. So I walked by her a few times, and I was like, just trying to get in, just trying to, bask in the ambience of being around her more so than anything. And as she was leaving, I went and I shook her hand, and I said, I hope you do well tonight. I don't know Japanese, but I'm like, I hope you do well tonight. Congratulations, and good luck. And she's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she gives me a shoulder tap, and she walks off, and she goes into her car, and she goes straight to Tokyo Dome. From there, I do the exact same thing. I get to Wrestle Kingdom. Amazing experience being in a Tokyo Dome for the first time ever. It was like nothing else. And we all take our seats, and I believe the first match was the Stardom tag team match between Hana Kimura and Julia versus Mayu Iwatani and Arisa Hoshiki. And I know for a lot of you watching this video, you have never seen that match because it was on televised, but I got the honor of being able to witness that match in person. So I'm one of the few who've actually been able to see that match happen. And it was special. It was special because you never actually were able to thought something like this would happen. Not only were these women competing in the Tokyo Dome, but these women were competing on a New Japan show. This is technically part of Wrestle Kingdom. Even though it wasn't aired, and even though it may never air, it technically was a part of Wrestle Kingdom. This was a part of my Wrestle Kingdom experience. I get to say, this was the first match I've seen in a Tokyo Dome. This is a part of my experience. This is a first for me. And going into this match, I liked all the women, of course. I like Julia. I like Mayu, despite what people think. But, I had a distinct love for Hana and Arisa. Hana got me into it, and Arisa was my favorite. So I cheered very hard when they both came out. I have a little bit of video of Hana coming out. Woo! I got some pictures of her in the Tokyo Dome, and I was so happy for her. And even though she took the pin in the match to Mayu, it was it was really good, and I was happy to have seen it actually happen before my eyes. And I got to say they were actually a part of that first show that I've seen in Wrestle Kingdom. So fast forward 2 days later to New Year Dash on January 6th. I get to Otis at a gymnasium, and I think it was the day before where I got the notification that Stardom is going to be holding a meet and greet with certain wrestlers, and Hana Kimura was one of them. And I was immediately excited because I'm like, I didn't actually get the chance to take a picture with her when I first met her. Now I get to do it. It was almost like, you know, the universe putting her in this situation back into my orbit because I wasn't able to the first time. So I was very grateful for that. And when I got to the gymnasium and I got down all the way down those steps into the bottom of the arena, I walk in and you make a left and you go into this area where it's the New Japan shop. All the shirts and the merchandise and all that stuff is being sold. That's where I got a lot of my wrestling shirts, my tight chi pantalones. That's where I got a lot of that stuff. And when I first walk in, I see Hana Kimura, Konami, and Jungle Kyona. And they're handing out these Stardom pamphlets, and I think I still have the pamphlet that Hana handed off to me. But Hana was the one handing off pamphlets to me. And she's like, da, da, da. She said it in Japanese. I couldn't remember everything she said. But I shook her hand, and I could tell from the look on her face she remembered who I was from earlier in the day, from 2 days ago. And she said, "Oh, hi," and maybe she didn't remember me. I don't know, but I like to think she remembered who I was. And I knew she was busy, so I tried not to hold her for too long. But I was able to sneak in a picture with her and Jungle. They were so nice, both of them. Hana was a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Usually with female wrestlers, being a male wrestling fan, they always gotta be cautious because you never know what female wrestling fans' intentions are. Let me just say she was a lot more open to being receptive for the picture than I think a lot more wrestling female wrestlers would be. I'm not saying that Jungle wasn't. I'm not saying any other wrestler I've ever had picture wasn't, but I would say she was more receptive to it. She took the picture, and I thanked her for it because she did not have to do that. It was completely free. She did not charge me off the clock, I would say. And I thanked her for it, and she said, "You're welcome." And yeah. Mind you, January 4th, the day like before Wrestle Kingdom even happened, they were holding a booth outside of the Tokyo Dome with all these things lined up, and on the very, very, very last like vendor was a Stardom one, and it had signed pictures of Hana Kimura, Arisa Yoshiki, Julia, and Mayu, who were all wrestled in Tokyo Dome tonight. So I think I got to the Sim Gymnasium probably 2 to 3 hours early. So about 30 or 40 minutes before the match actually starts, they start doing signings and photo ops with the Blaze of Stardom. They did one for TCS, which was Hana Kimura, Konami, and Jungle Kyona. They did another one for Queen's Quest, which was Momo Watanabe, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishita. And then they did another, and they're slipping my head right now. Of course, I don't know why they slipped my head. For Stars, which was Mayu Watani, Arisa Oshiki. I think there's one more person, but I do not remember who they were. Or I think it might have just been those two. But the first people that were up there was TCS. Now, if you ask me, Tyler, what team do you rep in Stardom? I would tell you it's TCS. You know, Stars carries my two favorites, my two like top two favorites, which was Arisa and Tam. But I felt a debt of gratitude to the line with TCS because Hana got me into Stardom. So I felt like I could just be a traitor and go to Stars. I have to stay with TCS. So I'm boy TCS, and I think after this I'm TCS for life. So um, when they opened up their booths, I got in line immediately because I knew I wanted to get a signed picture from Jungle and Hana and Konami, and I got in line and I got a signed picture from Hana and Jungle and Konami, and I have it in the corner. And I'm gonna try my best not to tear up if I see this picture, but I know I have it under my bed somewhere. So while I was there, one of the things that they were selling was also a Stardom guide, which I bought because I wanted to support the ladies of Stardom because I have a lot of fond memories. Then I also have this, which was the thing I bought at the Tokyo Dome before Wrestle Kingdom 14, which were the signed pictures. So in here we have, I'm going to try not to touch it too much. We have Mayu. We have, there's Hana. There's Hana. I think I want to say that's Julia. And then that's Arisa. So those are all the signed pictures I got. They signed it themselves. I was not there when they signed them. I think they're all pre-signed, of course. Of course, that the one that's most special to me was the one they all signed themselves. Like I said, when I was there, I got signed pictures with Hana, Jungle, Konami, Arisa, and Momo. But I'm not going to do the whole showcase here. I'm just going to do of the ones that I've... So, first one to open up to is Hana. So, oh my god. There it is. Hopefully it's in HD and you guys can clearly see her. As you can see, she signed her name here. And then she has Tyler with the heart written over it. And 1/6/2020. That is heartbreaking to know that she's not here anymore. But yeah. Hopefully this makes a good thumbnail. So let me move my microphone over. So yeah, that's my picture with Hana Kimura. And trying my best to hold back tears right now. But that's my experience with her. Meeting her. So nice. 22 years old. I'm 23. I just turned 23 a month ago today, since today's May 23rd. I turned 23 on April 23rd. And, you know, as a wrestling fan, as a young wrestling fan, I feel it's more of gratitude, and I feel more indebted than ever to support young wrestling fans. Anyone around the 20 age range, that mid 20, early 20s, even teens age range, I feel indebted to support them, because as a small YouTuber and as someone who wants to make a name for themselves on social media and a platform like YouTube or Mixer or just in this world make an impact, you also want to see people your age range succeed as well. And knowing that one of the very few young women that got me into a portion of my life is no longer here is very, very upsetting to know. I don't know what else to say except for rest in peace, Hana Kimura. You deserved a way better storybook ending than the one you got. I think this is a time more than ever to look at the wrestling community and look at just how. I don't think it's the best time to even talk about that, but rest in peace, Hana Kimura. You deserved a way better ending than what you got. And ultimately, I think everyone should be remembering Hana Kimura for her best matches, performances, and just about all around good person that she was. After all the news that's happened within the past week, all of 2020 really, everything that's been going on. This has been a very hard time to be a wrestling fan, I must say. Shad passing away, Arisa retiring, and now Hana Kimura. This is probably one of the toughest times to be a wrestling fan right now. There's no wrestling going on except for AEW and WWE. It seems like all this happening when people were in quarantine, out of jobs, or working during the pandemic, putting their health online each and every single day. I'm an essential, so I know all about that. It's devastating. It's hard, you know. I don't feel like I've ever been as challenged being a wrestling fan as I am today. You know, it's really testing my strength, I guess. It's hard not to look at that picture. But yeah, rest in peace, Hana Kimura Hana. You'll be greatly missed, all around. And I still plan to watch Stardom. It's going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult, knowing that not only is my favorite gone, but the person who got me into it are both gone. Stardom has lost, I think, a total of 5 to 6 women in the last 6 months, and that's hard on them. But I feel like it's even harder on me because getting into Stardom and you lose these women who you've barely got a chance to know, it gets tough. It gets tough. But I feel like this would probably be a bad time to stop watching Stardom. I think more than ever we should start watching Stardom, and we should support these women and everything that they do. So maybe I have to review the Cinderella tournament and, you know, see Hana one more time. But I don't know. I'm actually really happy that I actually got to see her live and meet her before she's gone. So don't take life for granted. You never know when your last day is going to be. That's really all I can leave off with. Thank y'all for watching this video. I still plan on doing a live stream for AEW Double or Nothing tonight. That's not promised at this point with everything going on, but I still plan to do one, and I hope you all show up for it. I love you guys always, and I will see you all later. Peace out, guys.